Howdy guys, welcome back. We're on our second part, I guess, to kind of starting things off in a brand new city. And I think where we last left off, we were just kind of filling up our available zones, and I think we're just running out of power, actually. And, oh, actually, we had just unlocked a milestone, that's right. Okay, so I'm going to pause the game right now until we figure out our power situation. But I think we'll just go ahead and drop in a bigger power plant. And it's just kind of like a short-term solution. Let's put that down there. No problemo. Should be more than enough power now once that goes online. Perfect. Tons. Excellent. Lots of room for growth. And something I just wanted to start off with, just because of the way we did this. Unfortunately, there's no way to get to these buildings here unless you're coming right from the highway itself. So I'm going to switch our roads over like this, just so that we can get a little bit more free-flowing traffic kind of through here. But the only way in is going to be this 2-lane off the highway. Or, of course, from over here, right? Okay, so our demand right now is for residential. We do have a few more services that we unlocked and have to be placed. Fire, mainly the most important right now, since we actually have a fire. I think we need 12,000 credits. We're almost there. And we'll put a fire station, I think, just right here. That way it's close enough that it can kind of tackle the whole city. And we should see those fire trucks leave right away. And there they go. Perfect. Cool. Awesome. Save the day, fellas. Perfect. Next, we should do a clinic. Do we have one of those down? We do not, obviously. And I have a whole bunch of custom ones downloaded, which is why you maybe are seeing some that are unfamiliar to you. Since we can't afford it, but we can afford a few roads, I think what we're going to do instead is just tack on one little extra neighborhood just over here on the outskirts. We're not going to go too close to our utilities just because of the noise factor, but I think we can go up and around, and when we get enough money, kind of take over this kind of spot, right? We'll see how our piping is. So we should be zoning as we do this. And sometimes 3 speed is not fast enough, right? Okay, that's good. Oh, and it's raining. How nice. So we'll put in some more residential. Just for the sake of the noise, maybe this little bit right here could just be commercial. Maybe on both sides of the street too, just for fun. And then I would like to stretch, say, this through here, just so that we have a little bit more flow through of traffic. And this is a wider lane road here. And if you're not using any of these extra road mods, which you may not be because you maybe just found this video, it's no problem if you wanted to use avenues as a little bit of a wider approach. Just kind of keep an eye on where the traffic hotspots, end up being, and then from there, just maybe find what the cause of the problem is and try and game plan some solutions. So roundabouts are pretty good for dealing with high volumes of traffic. Remember the one-way kind of road strategy. Use those to kind of limit the amount of intersections you're getting with traffic lights, kind of create little loops and boundaries for certain areas. And then if you do your one-ways correctly, you can force traffic to stay on wider avenues, that kind of stuff. Okay, so we should be zoning, like I said, as we go. So we'll make all of this residential. And then all of these new residents are going to need jobs, so that's going to start calling for some more development of some industry, which is great because they pay a lot of taxes. Alright, so that is like that. We now have to start saving our money for services because we're fortunately having some issues with some crime. And these are the kind of things that are going to make our citizens move out over time. So obviously we want to avoid that. Oh, perfect. We've unlocked something else. It does come with more services. We do have more money, but you can kind of see why you don't want to move too quickly through some of your milestones, because unfortunately the issues, they start to quickly pile up. So we'll put in a police station. So that's police and fire now covered. Maybe not the best of coverage. You can see we still need some more over there, right? And that's our fire coverage. We're going to put in a clinic. That's also extraordinarily important to our people. And then next we're going to have to put in a school. And these are not necessarily in the order of importance. I think the most important thing to have is a fire station, Because if, say, like your power plant or something burns down, that is extraordinarily expensive to fix. And unfortunately, there's like no insurance or anything like that in this game. And I think I mentioned in the previous episode that some of my buildings are going to look a little bit different because I've got a lot of custom ones just kind of downloaded. And I just did that just to get some more variety because I find that just the default number of buildings you get is not really enough. But again, these are the kind of things like if your computer isn't really strong or you don't have a lot of RAM and that kind of stuff, don't even bother. Don't even worry about it. Remember what I was saying, like the mods, they're not pivotal. They do add a little bit more depth to the game, but like, you know, if your computer can't handle it, you're not missing much. Don't worry. I'm not trying to overhype this or anything like that. So when I do my side roads, I'm just trying to be just aware of, you know, the internal zoning squares here. So I think that's pretty good just to get a few extra factories and stuff in here. And I think we can zone on this side now. Perfect. And we'll just expand on our water. Oh, great. We're actually on top of that already over here. Same with over here. Great. And now we want to expand slightly, but we still want to keep in mind that we need some more services, right? Like our school and stuff. So our money should slowly be getting saved for that. So we'll expand maybe just by another block or so down here. And then since this is a 2-lane road, I'm going to shift to a 1-lane, like, you know, 1 by 1. Just again, for maintenance costs, if you're doing that periodically throughout the whole city, just like in the grand scheme, that will save you quite a bit of money. So we're single lane here. And then also in terms of traffic, more traffic is going to be here anyhow, so you don't really need to double up. However, if things get really out of control, you have the option to double up, right? So that's always good. And fill this in with just some residential. And we'll bring our pipes down. And I'm going for not too much overlap. Because again, that kind of stuff too, it saves you a lot in the long run. So imagine over the course of the entire city, if every pipe was like that close together, it would just cost us so much more. But it doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, it is underground, so no one really sees it. Just something to be aware of. Okay, so we're gonna restart our day. Actually, a fairly nice looking city we got here. Power, oh, interesting. So you can kind of see, like, again, you don't really want to build too big too fast, because right now we should be putting a school down. However, we need a power plant. So the problems they arise, right? Just stuff to be aware of. So the things we're saving for right now, before we expand any further, is services. We want to put a fire station over on this side because it's a long way for our fire trucks have to go. And again, if we do lose the power plant, like we'll feel really bad about it. And then educating our citizens, super important too. That might maybe be less important per se than having fire coverage. So we might maybe do a fire station first on this side. If we wanted to, this would be a great opportunity to take out a loan. We have 2 available. So why don't we take out the bigger of the 2? And let's tackle some of our services. So we don't have any health coverage on this side. So that's something that we can also put in. So put that right about there. Cool. And then we'll have to worry about death care soon. I don't think we've unlocked that just yet, so we're not going to worry. But it's on the horizon. These are some custom fire stations I've downloaded. So I'm just going to use that just for fun. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I like that. Works for me. Okay, now we're going to restart our days. We're moving through them rather quickly on 3-speed. It's the beauty of a small city and being on 3-speed. Just everything works so well. I would like to have a road come through here just to fill in those missing kind of zoning squares and just to tackle some of that growing commercial demand. Maybe we can make that commercial. And then before, when I said we weren't going to zone on the roundabout, traffic is not bad at all in this area, so let's maybe do a test. We'll put some residents like that. Just a little bit. Won't really add too much to the roundabout. We want to maximize, get some more money and people in here. Okay, so we want to get another power plant. This one is a good investment. We could buy a few more wind turbines, but I don't really think we get enough out of them. So let's put that maybe closer to the highway. Oh, look at that, Boomtown. So that's some more services we probably unlocked. With some highway pieces, that's pretty fun. Also got ourselves some more money to work with. Oh my goodness, so much custom stuff here. Oh, we have trams too. How fun. There we go. So Death Care is now unlocked. And we have the first bit of our public transportation, which is kind of fun. I don't necessarily think we should start with public transportation just yet. It is very expensive. And did we not get any power plants? We did not. Not only is it expensive, it's just there's not really enough people in the city to kind of warrant it. So we're expanding on our power. That should be, again, more than enough now to kind of sustain us. Water and sewage is good for the moment. We're okay for our landfill. We should be doing an incinerator. I don't believe we unlock those until we hit 7,500 people. Or 5,500, that's not so bad. I have some already because they're custom assets. So Death Care we know we unlocked, so we're going to put that down. And what's great is people kind of treat the cemeteries almost like a park as well. Kind of makes them happy to know that they're relative, they're close by type thing. So they can go visit often. And it's a nice little park attached to the cemetery too, with a little church and everything. So kind of gives the land value a little boost to the area. So make sure you use them often. And you do need, I almost said incinerators, good lord. You need crematoriums as well, just to kind of keep up with the demand, because unfortunately the cemeteries, they will fill up. Okay, so a lot of demand for residential right now. I would like to put some schools in. We need a high school and a elementary school. We've got quite a few options here, so we can put one of the default in-game ones right there. That's great. And I have these ones downloaded. It's doubles as a church, which I think kind of looks nice in the residential neighborhoods. A little more realism. Because obviously you find churches everywhere in cities, right? Okay, so that's a nice little addition, I think. And just kind of keeping with the general shape of what we're doing, let's tack on one more neighborhood down here. And we just move at a nice, slow, steady pace. I'm going to kind of change the size, though, and the spacing, just so that we're not doing these perfect grids. Because, again, if you do them, it looks a little bit weird. Like, it just seems like Soviet style, you know, I want to say. Now, for the sake of money, I'm actually going to make this one just a regular road. I think the next one down will be a 2-lane. And all we're doing is just kind of connect the dots here, just making sure we get the right roads going to the right spots. And then what we can do now, since we have a little bit more space in the middle, so those extra squares here, this is just for absolute fun. You don't have to do this, but I'm going to do it right now. Draw yourself like a little inner road like this, and let's try and do the same thing over here. So here to here. And then what we're doing is we're going to connect these to the previous intersections. And it's just like a little fun way to make just a different kind of shape, right? And you get a fun little bit of symmetry. And then so we're going to make this now, say some shopping. And then we'll make everything else as residential. Just, you know, variety, just for, you know, basically for fun. We're all about the funsies here. Sometimes you get some terrain issues when you do a lot of intersections kind of spouting out from one little point there, but I think we'll just let that be. We can try and fix it by maybe, possibly, hopefully just deleting one of these roads and putting it back in. Sometimes that fixes it. Sometimes it does not. So if this stuff bugs you, just kind of rethink. I think the real issue here is that there's a slight uphill, so maybe some terraforming, but I don't want that to jive our style. I'm just kind of showing you this so you can kind of get some more variety in how you do your neighborhoods. Alright, so demand still very strong for residential and commercial. So we should be shifting our attention. I wonder if we've unlocked... I'll show you that park I have in mind. You can kind of see I've got like so many. Like tons and tons and tons. Like way too many even. So I know a few of you are going to already... Maybe you already have asked for some custom assets. I don't mind trying to track down a few. It's just for me to do an entire list like this. It's just like really... It's a lot. Okay, so I said this was 10. Oh, I guess it was only 5 by 5. That makes the 10. Well, I guess that makes more sense, right? So we're going to put that relatively in the center, and then we're going to make kind of a little extension on our own here. Because you can see, unfortunately, there's no one... Oh, you know what? It's going to call for... Yeah, it's going to want a smaller roundabout. Okay, well, should we be bold, and should we try to make this a little bit more compact? Heck, why not, right? Let's see if we can do it. We're up for a little bit of a challenge. Okay, so we're going to expand. Let's go like this. And so I need to go in by 5 more. And then now we need to do 5 by 5. I think if our math is correct. Okay. Yeah, that looks like it's right. So these kind of things, they might seem intimidating to do, but it's really not too hard, right? And the best part is, if you make a mistake, you just fix it. So maybe it needs to be 6 by 6. I think this looks a little bit small to me. Yes, it's, haha, see? Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. So that means we back that up. Oh boy, this is when things get tricky. Okay, so to make sure that things are now even, this is when you do a little bit of counting, right? So, no problem. That's out by 10. We erase this. Go out by 10. Perfect. Now we know to add 4 instead of 5. Right, just gotta retrace your steps, right? And it might be a little bit intimidating. You might be like, oh shoot, what did I do first? That kind of stuff happens. Like, it's really no problem just to kind of back things up and redo areas. Like, the beauty of this game is nothing is set in stone. Just gotta keep your cool, plan it out, visualize what you're after. I think we just kind of achieve what we're trying to do. And then this way, we're still getting the right spacing, everything kind of lines up. And this now, look at that. Perfect. Fits beautifully. How fun is that as a park? I like that. Okay, so this will now connect back up. You can see, what is that? Where did that take us? Like 2 or 3 minutes? Not even? Solve that. Visually looks better. A little bit more room here for zoning, so kind of a double-edged thing here. Put some zoning back like this. Bada bing, bada boom. Back in action. Look at that, guys. Cool. Now we might maybe have some open space here you can kind of see. So this gives us an opportunity to maybe sneak in one of these skinny little roads back here. Just take advantage of you know, some extra space. And then this can go, say, like that. This can go like this. That can go like that. Okay, so just play with what you got. Make everything kind of work, right? You can kind of see here, we're not doing symmetrical zones, nothing's perfectly square, but you still have a fun little bit of symmetry and feel into it. And so by that same logic, we could do something over here as well. So maybe we want to do something different. Maybe we'll draw an inner road like this, and just go like that, and then maybe connect like this. And then again, we'll just connect to existing intersections, just to cut down on traffic lights. And we're not going to connect there, just because the roundabout, that might get a little bit confusing. But we're going to fix these little things. Maybe this can now become residential. And this inner part here can become commercial. And then everything else just stays residential. And then we can keep little corner stores here. That's kind of fun, right? Okay. Now, at the same time, we're growing everything, right? But we want to make sure that we're still on top of, you know, services and like utilities, that kind of stuff. So, landfill, like I said, this is going to be kind of filling up at some point. We're not too bad right now. We do want to get to 5,500 though, because it is important to unlock some of the incinerators. But at the same time, we really want to build ourselves a nice, strong budget so that we have a lot of money going into that that point. Okay, so we might maybe need some death care coverage on that side. But given that our budget is a little bit low, especially in the nighttime, because we don't have any night resources. Night resources. I mean, like, we don't have any like night zones, right? Like, when you make a themed district, if you make it leisure and stuff, you get like a nighttime boost to your budget. But we'll go over that kind of stuff later on. But you can kind of see we make more money during the day. It's kind of what I was trying to say there. So we don't really want to add any more services, even though we might maybe need some more, right? I think we still wanted to put a high school in, but we kind of ran out of money. So what we need to do is just grow the city, but just be aware of all of that stuff. So where can we add some more neighborhoods on? So we got some demand for some commercial, so this looks like we got some room right there. How is our piping? Great. And then what we can do is move down another block or so, put another roundabout in. That way we're getting a little bit of the symmetry. We can even use that same park asset again. So why don't we do that? We have a little bit of money. Okay, so we'll move down, say 20 units like that, that's fine. And then we'll do something in between. And then, so remember now it was 6 by 6, just so we get like a little inner radius of 10 units. Oopsie, so I'm up to 7 there. Just back that up. Cool. And then once the city, I'd say, is maybe a little double or so this size, we can start maybe introducing a basic tram network or a really basic bus network, just to kind of get some people out of their cars, maybe used to the idea of public transit in our city. Okay, so we're gonna do the wider roads through here, and this is just the ongoing battle for traffic. It did look like we were starting to maybe scale back going this far outwards, so we'll just kind of keep that theme alive. Maybe we'll do this. We'll keep our avenue going. That's kind of a nice look, I think. And then what we can do, maybe to break away from having the perfect grids, maybe we can go out and make some of these side streets go kind of on angles or something. There we go. There's a nice straight angle, right? Something like that. And then let's bring our lights back up. Put that on 1 speed. Maybe take a skinnier road here and just do, you know, something like this. Something very simple. Just a fun way to just get, you know, a little neighborhood or something, right? And we don't have to do the same thing on this side, just to steer away from making things perfectly symmetrical. Which, honestly, it's pretty difficult to achieve sometimes. But it's the same kind of style, because the skinny roads, it just looks kind of cool when you have a mix between some of these wider ones and the skinny ones, but I'm just looking for nice curvies. I don't really want that to be too, or nice straight roads, I should say. That's a bit better. Oh well, we'll still take it. But I do want that same kind of look through here, so I will actually upgrade these, even though we'll notice the curve a little bit more in them. I just think it looks kind of fun. There we go. And then through here, we can just maybe keep this one nice and simple. Just go like such. Awesome. Bring this on down. But the general goal is just, again, to steer away from doing perfect grids. Maybe keep things kind of a little bit different, just for fun. You don't want your city to be just perfect, you know, Soviet style, just every block is the same, all tall towers. And so, you know, in that sense too, when you start going up in your density, make sure you're putting parks, you're keeping some areas nice and low, just so you can appreciate the view. Like that kind of feeling. Okay, so we're starting to now see our water and our sewage slowly trickle down. So we're going to have to put a new one in eventually. Don't have to worry just yet. But see how this is a little bit inefficient? So in the long run, it's not best to, oh goodness, to have, oh gosh, this is the worst. Okay, I need one right there. Have this, right? So we're going to change this right away. Simply because we can, it's pretty early on. Just get into the habit of just trying to save the few dollars here and there, because it's, like, again, over the course of the city, when this is like 300,000 or 400,000 people strong, like the amount of money you end up saving, it's mind-blowing. And that could be the difference of your whole city budget, you know? So what we're going to need eventually is an extension of our elevated highway with another roundabout or something. So we do have all of these custom highway pieces unlocked. We don't necessarily have the money to do a highway right now, though. You can kind of see our budgets kind of a little bit dip in here. But I've got all these custom interchanges, right? Some haven't been unlocked just yet, and some cost like ridiculous amounts of money. 92,000, holy bajolies. So we're going to save up, but it's just something that we're also going to keep in mind on the back burner. That we're going to have to, you know, leave room open. And you can kind of see right here, like I was saying in the previous episode to this, keep this space open. Because we're going to maybe put some trains or something through here. We got room to make some interchanges. But it'll be kind of cool to have maybe 1 or 2 train lines elevated or, you know, at level, just kind of make their way through here. And then we can start, what I'd like to do is a separate and kind of an internal and an external train line. So we'll have one that connects to the region. I just find that we maybe get a little bit too much traffic from the region, so it's nice to have kind of you know, smaller in-town routes that don't really get as much traffic. So we'll kind of keep that in mind. We'll plan for that as we go as well. All right, so let's zone in here. Let's get some more people. We have a lot of demand for commercial. We're finally seeing some demand grow for industry, which is great. So we can do a little bit of an extension over there as well. But let's just get this going. And as far as shopping goes, let's maybe make this area here. And you know, let's try zoning on the roundabouts. I don't normally do that, but it's something that we can very easily remove if traffic gets out of hand. And see how this little spot here, not the end of the world to have that as an open. Like, we can just maybe pretend it's someone's bigger backyard. Or if we wanted to, we could very easily do another little set of roads like this. Whatever you would like, guys. Okay, so that'll go like this. Cool. And then we're going to go over to our industrial zone. And it looks like we can just easily expand right around here. So let's give that a shot. So we're using these guys. Go up a little bit further we need to. Stretch that right across. Perfect. Keep that going. Excellent. Oh, that actually fills in rather nicely. So super simple. Just basically fill this in. We'll worry about decoration and you know, that kind of stuff a little bit later on. Maybe we'll fill in and get some single ones here too. Even though we hadn't done that in the beginning. And then now what we can do is we can scale back our power lines and we can reclaim this area here for zoning. And we're just going to pause because we just severed the main connection. And we're going to delete this and just redo it. Okay, so we're going to go from here just to there. Perfect. And then just, again, reclaim these spots here. Perfect. Might not seem like much, but these extra few squares, you know, again, over the course of the whole city, like that kind of stuff, it does make a difference. So remove dead power lines. You don't need them. Because what we have is coverage anyhow. And if you wanted to, you could download things like utility boxes or like, you know, like fake kind of, it's like a radio tower, it just adds. And so these things here would be, see how they almost connect? So we can even do this. And then now we can get rid of the whole power lines altogether. So if you don't really like the look of power lines, options. If you don't like the look of this, no problem. Use two of these, you know, just hide them. Maybe we can hide that right there. Or hide them under the, see? Hide them all together. Get rid of them. Forget they're there. Mission accomplished though, right? Alright, we'll 3-speed this. But you can see so far, traffic, not too bad. Options for the future is we could make this a double stack in terms of bridges. So we could do the same kind of idea, the bypass. Or we could make a tunnel, or we could just make another bridge on both of these sides, just to kind of bypass the highway altogether. Like, we have so many options, which is kind of fun about this game. So there's no real right way to do things, which I really do like. There are some ways that are definitely more functional than others, right? But kind of to each their own. So I think we'll kind of end things off here, guys. We've got a nice little bit of growth to the city. Our budget a little bit more under control. We're growing at a nice pace here. Arguably, we could do some more more services, but I think we'll kind of save that for the next episode. So what we're going to do is we're going to grow the city a little bit more. In the next episode, we'll hopefully double the size. We'll get our the first of the public transportation kind of set up. We'll start doing some parks and some more specialized zones, and then we'll just talk about planning for the future, that kind of stuff. Take a look at utilities, services, just all the you know, the bread and butter things. All right, guys. Well, if you enjoyed it, hit the like button, and if you haven't already, definitely subscribe for more. And be sure to check out some other stuff. I have a lot of other City Skylines videos. Some of them are a little bit old, but they're still pretty fun to watch, full of good content. And if you have any questions, definitely feel free. I'll help you guys out as much as I can. All right, until the next one. Take care of yourselves, guys, and happy building.